because she comes and she nitpicks every tiny little thing in his house, and she starts creating drama where there is none.
I know.
And she sort of, he wants to, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's adorable. He wants her to come in and see who he is. He doesn't want to hide things. He doesn't want to throw things away and start, you know, sweeping things under the rug to create a show for her. And she should appreciate that, by the way, because there are very little men that do that these days. And she just berates him for it, and takes him apart for it, and starts making him feel bad for it. And I feel like you want him to be authentic, but then you want him to put on a show for you. You won't let him be himself, but you want him to
Change for
help
you.
you, be there for you. Yeah. And just, you want him to be the one who's doing all the changes and the one who's being all flexible. And you have to understand, you two come from very different worlds. This is a person who literally came from nothing. And he's a very simple guy. He's very down to earth. He's very like, he's very, very simple. Like, he's not very complicated. And she is very, and like, and she comes from a very rich family, and she's very spoiled. And I mean, like, they're asking him if he's ready for her way of life where she likes to travel a lot in style and spend
Yes.
a lot of money. And I don't know, I feel like wrong choice, Izzy, wrong choice.
Yeah. Yeah. But the way he spoke about Johnny and approached that situation, I was like, I don't feel that. I think Johnny was confused, but I don't feel she was
Mm-hmm.
dishonest. I don't feel, I get what she was feeling and working through, and she maybe was a bit clumsy with Izzy and then going to whatever his name. But the way they both spoke about her, I was like, you guys
Yeah.
are. I mean,
I don't know. Mm?
it's like, oh, can you hear yourselves? You are accusing her
Yeah.
of doing, saying a certain thing. That it's not because you're going to call her a shitty person to her face. That doesn't make you a good person.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like, suddenly I feel like I'm missing something, because I like, wait, okay, but I don't remember that happened. I feel like I want to go back and rewatch it now to look out for those things. Maybe they did happen, maybe they didn't. I don't know. And I feel like, yes, she came off really bad with the way she flipped on what's his face? What's the guy that she,
Is now dating.
yeah,
I don't remember.
I can't remember his name. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, I feel like he's just like her consolation prize, or the way she dealt with that whole situation was kind of very fake to me. Um, but I don't know, something there's, I feel like, again, there's always like you say, there's always three perspectives for every situation: his, hers, and the truth.
Yeah.
And or theirs and the truth, or whatever you want to call it in this situation. But I feel like something that was so blown out of proportion, and I'm like, if you have an issue, solve it like mature adults. It's like the whole thing has just gotten, and I don't know if they're playing it like that for the cameras or what, but something there has
The
completely gone out of.
I find that when people volunteer advice, volunteer things such as I'm an honest person, I'm a no
Mm-hmm.
drama person, if you just volunteer that without any prompt, then
Unbelievable.
it's like, well, actually now I'm suspicious of you being the opposite of what you're
Yeah.
saying. And what's coming to is Johnny and whatever they not Johnny, Izzy and Stacey, they were saying you're doing this for the cameras. I'm like, you're a camera, blah blah blah. I'm like, well, now I'm suspicious of you only coming to the show for the camera, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's just, let's all accept that once you get onto these TV shows and that these shows have some success and things like that, then yeah, everybody kind of thinks, oh, maybe I'll make it on social media. Make fine. I'd like to find love and maybe I'll make it on social media. But when you start being so outwardly like accusatory on these things, it's like, well, now I'm suspicious of you actually for this didn't cross my mind until you brought it up. So
Yeah, I feel like people love to testify, I call it. They testify about themselves. And I'm like, I believe actions, not words. Like a lot of times you can say whatever you want about yourself. At the end of the day, your actions are what actually show me who you are. Because you can say till tomorrow that you're this kind of person, but at the end of the day, look how you're behaving. And I feel like if you really were the person you say you are, you wouldn't have to say it out loud. People who are honest, people who are drama free,
yeah,
people who are not there for clout won't have to say it.
yeah,
They won't feel the need to say it. They won't even think about saying it because it just shows. They just act. They're too busy behaving accordingly to just try to because I mean, like, you don't need to convince someone if it's really the truth.
yeah. Amen to that. I yeah,
But hmm,
yeah, that whole thing was just icky. And I
yeah,
feel that Stacey is realizing that Izzy is not yet. I mean, we don't know what he could become of him, but at the stage that he's at, he's not that high earner provider that she's looking
mm-hmm,
for. And so she's just looking for anything to get out of it. Because apart from, I mean, he has some, weaknesses and faults and things, but he's only human. He's a good guy.
yeah,
I genuinely think he's probably on the up and up. It's just going to take him a while. And she's just not, she doesn't want to wait. I think she wants a guy who's 10, 12 years older than her, earns money, can take care of her. And so she's
yeah,
looking for anything. And that whole thing about the credit thing that she blew up, and I completely get where he's coming from, was that's not something I want to be sharing on television with somebody I don't really know. I want to, and it's not even that big. It was only $3,000. It's, yes, it's not good, but it's not the end of the world either. Like, I thought I'd just talk about it when I wanted to talk about it. I genuinely, I felt that that was honest from him. And the way she blew that up in that last episode is going to be the
mm-hmm.
reason she says no at the altar.
I feel like they're just way too different, and I do believe that people with big differences can make it work. I just feel like they both have such fundamental, basic traits and values that they're not willing to budge on. That's just going to keep on clashing,
Mhm.
and it's not going to work. I feel like he has one way of life, and he's a very simple way of life, and she has a very such a luxurious way of life, and she's such an elite, and everything for her has to be so high standard, which I get, and every person should live the way they want to live. But I feel like there's some people like I mean me, I love, I mean, I didn't come from much. And even when I have a lot of money, and even when I will be rich one day, I don't want to believe that I would live like her. Yes, I would want to travel a lot. I would want to, move around and do things, but I would never feel the need to start flying on private jets or staying in luxurious hotels and suites and spending a lot of money because I don't like spending money. I feel like it's a matter of personality, and some personalities merge together well
Yeah.
and some don't. And I feel like they have too many basic fundamental clashing between them.
Yeah. And the way that they talk about it, like, oh, we talk through it and blah, blah, blah. It's like, talking through a clash and an argument and a misunderstanding. I mean, of course, that's what you want to do. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, that's what you want to do. But it clashes on these tiny things that they were working through, and just like these You know, if
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have a clash on tiny things, what is it going to be like when you have kids and the
Mm-hmm.
bigger things, and you know, money? Because the thing around money is not an insignificant detail. I will agree with her on that. It is a topic, but it's nothing that needs a clash and needs shaming. It's okay, fine, we need to
Yeah.
talk about it. It's a conversation. And if everything becomes this huge blow, I mean, it is doomsday. And she has these standards of, luxury and first class and things like that, which is, I mean, fine, to each their own. He was never going to fit into that, and she knew that from the get-go. He was never
Yeah.
going to fit into that. He I don't know, they didn't show the other guys enough. I don't know if they weren't interested in her. He's the only one that, if she just wanted the clout or whatever. He was never going to fit into that lifestyle. Well, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
not from the get-go. And so it's just it shows that that she just wanted to force her lifestyle onto him, or
Mm-hmm.
wanted the wedding at the end, and the exposure and things like that, which is, you know this is why we watch the show and why we enjoy it. It's because of these
Yeah.
controversial characters.
Yes. But we haven't spoken about the most important
Yes,
question
yes,
of
yes.
the episode yet. Should he or shouldn't he have plastic plates and cutlery?
Oh, Jesus.
I
Oh,
had to bring that up. I had to bring that up.
oh, oh. I For the people only listening, this is not an audio malfunction. This is me not knowing what to say. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
why are you judging him on this? I mean, this guy he's a bachelor.
Yeah.
Who cares? Oh, I would have understood if his place was a mess and
Yeah.
like, I would have understood if he was living, fully teenagery, just left his parents' place, and it was dirty or whatever. A few seasons ago there was something like that where the place was dirty, and
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I was like,
Mm.
and even that is nothing to judge people on.
Yeah.
He obviously doesn't have cutlery because he probably doesn't cook and rarely eats in.
Yeah. I mean, I like the bouncy situations of my boyfriend. I ask him a lot of questions about different situations and how he would react, what he would do. So I was like asking him like if would you ever, like, let's say on a first date, on a like, not when we're just eating in and whatever, would you ever like serve me with plastic silverware or plate or whatever you want to call it? And he was like honestly no, but like he's like, but that's because that's what I have for myself, and he's that kind of person. It's like he likes to have, even for himself, like a nice set of plates, and he doesn't like to eat off plastic in general, and he's like, I don't know if I would have thought about it, but then maybe if it was an actual official date where I'm doing something at home for someone, I would want to make a nice impression and put in that little extra effort. So from that sense, I could understand